Hey guys, it's Crispy. I'm here to do a review for the movie Hayride, starring Bill Moseley and Kane Hodder. This movie was shot in Malvern, Pennsylvania, in a shoestring budget, like basically nothing. I think most of the money went to the cast, the main cast being Bill Moseley and Kane Hodder, because they're horror icons. The movies that they've been involved with have not only been important to American pop culture, but I think actually like abroad, uh, at least for horror fans. Jason is obviously an icon known like throughout the world. I would imagine, especially European audiences and whatnot. And yeah, brand new horror movie, shot for almost nothing. Really cleverly utilized what they had and what they used to make this movie with the least amount of money as possible. And I think this movie was actually a fundraiser to keep a farm running. And the story of this movie, I feel, kind of coincides with the reality of the farm that the movie is shot in. The movie's about Bill Moseley. He's a farmer that owns the land, and every year he has a hayride for the county that he lives in. The county that surrounds the farm. Excuse me. So yeah, every year he does it. He's been doing it ever since he's been alive. His family, the farm has been passed down to him. Um, there's not a lot of context in the family that owned the farm prior to him, but it was just enough context for you to understand that he's been living there forever, and that the hay rides have been a really big part of the bread and butter when it comes to budgetary concerns, like to keeping the farm open and whatnot. Um, and yeah, the movie just starts with the hayride of that year, and local government officials, like mayors and shit, they just start coming in, and also law enforcement, they start coming in and telling Bill Moseley's character that this farm's done. Even with this hayride, you're not going to make your return, and we're going to shut this farm down. And they really want to shut the farm down, because what they want to do is they want to demolish the farm and build new homes. They want to build new properties and new real estate so they can make money off of it. Possibly because they get their resources from other companies. Maybe they get their chicken from Tyson, from like major corporations. And this movie is sort of like it's a horror comedy, and I feel it's somewhat of a satire towards social economic structures in certain communities where you have literally land that cultivates, very good and fresh resources, but they underutilize them in favor of cheaper distributions, and just more, just building more opportunities for them to just make more money for themselves, and not really having interest for the people. Um, and that's saying, I think I'm probably saying too much for a movie like this, because this is a very low budgeted movie. It's not very robustly written. I would say, I guess, like it's not a genius work of art. It is really just a very cheesy and kind of fun horror comedy. Uh, and the person who really carries it is Bill Moseley. He's incredible in everything he's ever been. He has never been bad in one movie. And if he's ever not really served his purpose for a movie, is probably because a director underutilized him and didn't use him correctly. And that's something that directors would tend to do. I just saw a movie called The Estate with Anna Faris and Toni Collette, and it was the biggest piece of shit that I've seen this year. And those are amazing actresses. This movie doesn't do that. They actually use Bill Moseley to their benefit, because they know he's a fantastic actor. They'll give him lines, they'll give him something to do, and he'll work with it, And what I'll have to say about Kane Hodder's performance is he's he does his job. He's not incredible or anything. He's just, he plays a sheriff, and he's kind of an asshole. and that's good enough. And he serves his purpose for the movie. I think the person that really shines in this movie is Bill Moseley. There's another character, I don't know the actor's name. I'm sorry, but he's like a comic relief. He's this bumbling sheriff, like this really stupid guy, like a deputy, not really like the sheriff, but a bumbling deputy who's sort of like the right hand of the sheriff somewhat. But I think it's just because of nepotism. Um, and yeah, this movie doesn't have way too much to it. It's not really something to delve into and talk about it um, in a broad sense, because the story is just very very basic. It's just Bill Moseley owns a farm. Local government officials want to come in and take over the property. Then he decides to tell them, "Hey, if you guys come over again in this day, I'm gonna build another hayride, and if you guys don't find it to be absolutely scary, you guys can not only have my property, you guys can have this. You guys can have a whole bunch more than what is originally offered. So if you guys would just give me the opportunity, come back to my farm, and experience this hayride that I have built for you, you guys can have the property." So then the officials say yes to that, and he builds a hayride, and the hayride obviously is just filled with death traps, and just it's an ambush for this local government to not take his property away from him. There's also a very, to me, there's also a justified motive to why he's doing this, because they nearly killed him like way into the beginning of the movie. Even though it wasn't intentional, it still showed just what kind of assholes they were. And obviously, if you put it in the context of entity's this entity's disinterest in the benefit for the common people, you root for Bill Moseley, and that's good enough for you to go along with the movie, because it gets really ridiculous. So if you really dwell into what this movie's doing, it might fall apart for you. But I think if you just let that go and just have fun with it, you'll be fine. Um, so yeah, other than Bill Moseley and Kane Hodder, there are other characters that are very good. There's a Karen in the movie. I think her name in the movie is actually Karen. There is a douchey lawyer. There are people that are working for um, the government official that's coming in to shut down his property, his farm, to basically build new properties or be part of that project so they can make money off of it. And yeah, he's just taking it as he is, and things go on predictably as you would expect, and the movie ends right after that. So for me, personally, I'm gonna give this movie 2.5 out of 5 bacon strips. It's fast food, I would say, like, and it's not something that you actually absolutely have to see. But I feel like I had to review this movie because of the cast, the main cast being Bill Moseley and Kane Hodder. And if there are any fans out there that are fans of these guys, I just want to let you know that this movie's out here, and you can have a opportunity to see it. There's also going to be a sequel of this movie that's going to be made, because I saw this movie at the Colonial Theater, and the director was there to watch the screening with us. Also, a handful of stars from the film were there to give a Q&A, and the executive producers came out, which I think are the owners of the farm. I'm not really sure though. They said that they were in the process of making a sequel to the movie, which is really great news as well. Like, I just like the idea that Bill Moseley can keep getting work, and Kane Hodder as well. These actors are very much loved in the horror community, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Um, I'm not really sure on how you can watch this movie, but I'm sure they're gonna release it digitally at some point, possibly a very limited DVD release. I would suggest that you just keep searching the internet if you want to have an opportunity to watch this movie. They'll probably screen it somewhere else, possibly a tour. As far as I know, they've just released it at the Colonial twice, and I went at the second screening, with the first screening actually having Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley attend, but I didn't get to make that one because it was at a weekday. I couldn't make it. But yeah, like I said, 2.5 bacon strips, fast food. Not a rush to see it, but my necessity to want to review this movie is because of Bill Moseley and Kane Hodder, and just want to make people aware that this movie is out there, and that it might it might amuse you, I guess. If you've seen the movie, what did you think about it? Tell me at the comments below. Like the video, dislike the video, do whatever you like, and I love you guys.